All right, so get this. We're diving deep into one of the most interesting Enneagram pairings today.
Oh, tell me more. Which one?
We're talking about type 3, the achiever,
Okay.
and type 8, the challenger. Ever heard of them?
Oh, I'm familiar, yeah. Those are two pretty strong personalities, right?
Exactly. We're talking about those go-getters
Mm-hmm.
who always seem to, crush it.
Right, right.
But here's the question.
Yeah.
How well do these two actually get along, compatibility-wise?
Yeah, that's interesting because you'd think with all that drive, they'd be a power couple.
Right. A total powerhouse.
But could also be a clash of the titans, right?
Totally. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today.
I'm in.
We're using this article from Personality NFT as our guide, and it really gets into the nitty-gritty of how these two types operate.
Okay, cool.
So you got the 3, super focused on success, image is everything to them,
Yeah, gotta look good.
and they're always looking for validation, like it fuels them.
Makes sense. Always striving for that recognition.
Then you have the 8, marching to their own beat,
Independent types?
totally in control, and honestly, they couldn't care less what others think.
Yeah, they're not here to please anyone.
It's like two totally opposite approaches to life, almost.
Oh, for sure.
And that's where things get really interesting. So think about this. The need for validation.
Okay.
That's often where the sparks start to fly between these two.
Right, because the 3 thrives on that recognition, needs it like air.
Totally. But 8 sleaze, not so much. They're more about tangible results.
They just want to get stuff done.
Exactly. And they might not naturally offer that kind of affirmation that 3 craves, the praise and all that.
Oh, I can see how that would cause friction.
Right. So right off the bat, we've got a potential clash. 2 strong-willed individuals, both used to taking charge.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster, maybe.
You'd think so, right?
Huh?
But here's the twist. This clash, this friction, it doesn't always spell disaster.
Oh, tell me more.
In fact, it can actually be the secret sauce to an incredibly strong partnership,
Okay, now that's interesting.
whether it's personal relationships or work collaborations.
Really? So how does that work?
Well, they actually have a lot of complementary strengths, which is kind of cool when you think about it.
Like what?
They both thrive in those fast-paced, high-energy environments.
Go, go, go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're action-oriented, and their energy, it's contagious.
Yeah.
Like imagine them working on a project together.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
The 3, with their charisma, they can rally everyone.
Yeah, get the team pumped.
And the 8, laser-focused on getting stuff done, overcoming any obstacles.
Nothing's going to stop them.
Exactly. It's like they unlock this whole new level of achievement when they team up.
They each bring something unique to the table.
Totally. But, of course, it's not all sunshine and roses.
Rory, there's going to be some downsides.
Exactly. And the article highlights this one area where they might really trip up.
What's up?
Communication.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
3s are all about diplomacy, being tactful.
Smooth talkers.
Right. But 8s, much more blunt and direct,
Hmm.
sometimes even intimidating.
No sugarcoating there.
And it goes beyond just how they talk, It's really about how they deal with their emotions.
That's deep.
3s often try to keep things positive, might even hide their true feelings to avoid conflict.
Keeping the peace.
Exactly. But 8s, they're comfortable confronting things head on.
No sweeping things under the rug.
Not at all. They don't shy away from sharing their opinions, even if it ruffles some feathers.
So those differing approaches, I can see how that lead to misunderstandings.
Oh, absolutely. The 3 might think the 8 is insensitive with their directness.
Yeah, too harsh.
And the 8 might see the 3's diplomacy as them being evasive.
Like they're not being real.
Exactly. And that's where understanding their attachment styles can give us some helpful insights.
Okay, attachment styles. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Right. So for those who aren't familiar, can you give us a quick breakdown of what that means?
Yeah.
In terms of the Enneagram?
Sure. Basically, attachment styles are about how we connect with people in relationships.
Okay, I'm following.
It's about how we find comfort, security, how we get close to others.
That makes sense.
So when it comes to 3s and 8s, 3s tend to have a secure attachment style.
Meaning.
They're good with intimacy. They don't freak out if their partner needs some space.
Okay, that's interesting.
8s, though, they often lean towards an avoidant style.
Avoidant, so they like their space.
Yeah, they value their independence, and getting too emotionally close, that can make them uncomfortable.
I can see that. So how does all this play out in a 3-8 dynamic? It seems like the 3 secure attachment could actually be a good thing for the 8, right?
You're exactly right. The 3 can create this safe, stable base.
Yeah.
And that can actually help the 8 feel more comfortable opening up, expressing their emotions.
So the 3 helps the 8 be more vulnerable.
In a way, yeah. It's not about changing the eight's need for independence, more about creating a space where they feel safe enough to let their guard down a little.
I see. So it's like this constant dance between potential conflicts and these amazing strengths they bring to the table.
That's a great way to put it.
It's all about recognizing and navigating those differences to build something that's both challenging and really rewarding.
I like that. Makes you think about how different personalities can actually complement each other.
Right. And it's not just about romantic relationships either. Let's talk about how this dynamic plays out in friendships and everyday life.
Okay, yeah. Let's see these two as friends. What's that like?
Well, I imagine they're the kind of friends who are always pushing each other to be better.
Like friendly competition.
In a way, yeah.
Ugh.
Always brainstorming, setting big goals, celebrating each other's wins.
Sounds like a pretty awesome friendship.
Right. Built on respect, challenge, and this shared passion for growth. It'd be unstoppable.
So late night talks turning into brainstorming sessions, weekends spent tackling those crazy projects.
Exactly. And it's not just about work and achievement, you know.
What else?
They could bond over their love of new experiences too. Traveling the world, trying new things, pushing their boundaries.
So that thirst for adventure, that shared drive to grow, that could really solidify their bond.
Oh, totally. Whether it's romantic or just a deep friendship. But we got to be real, even with all these positives.
Right, there's going to be some bumps in the road.
Exactly. Those fundamental differences can still cause friction.
Yeah, makes sense.
So let's dive into those potential pitfalls and, more importantly, how to navigate them.
Okay, let's get into it. What are some of the challenges?
Well, let's start with how they handle conflict. Remember, both types are pretty assertive.
Oh.
Neither one likes backing down. 3s might be diplomatic, but they still want to win.
Deep down, they're competitive.
For sure. And 8s, they naturally take charge, assert their dominance.
It's in their nature.
So yeah, it's easy to see how a disagreement could escalate quickly, like a clash of the titans, right?
I'm getting nervous just thinking about it.
No kidding. And that's why open and direct communication is super important for this pairing.
Makes sense. Gotta clear the air.
But it's not just about talking, right?
That's gonna be more than that.
It's about really understanding each other's perspective
Walking in each other's shoes.
and learning to communicate in a way that works for both of them.
So how do they do that? How can a 3 and an 8 learn to talk to each other, especially when things get heated?
Well, for the 8, it's about toning it down a bit.
Toning down.
Yeah, like instead of just hitting the 3 with a critique,
Yeah.
they could start by acknowledging the 3's efforts, the good stuff.
So like butter them up a little.
Kind of. But it's more than just flattery. It's about showing that you see their hard work, you value it.
I get it. So instead of saying this report's not good enough,
Right.
the 8 could try something like, hey, I appreciate all the effort you put into this, and I see you've made some great progress. Let's brainstorm a few ways to make it even better. Exactly. It's like you're still giving feedback,
Yeah.
but you're doing it in a way that's more collaborative, less critical.
Yeah, like you're on the same team working towards a common goal.
Exactly. And for the 3, it's about being more upfront about their needs, their feelings.
So no more hinting around.
No more hoping the 8 will just magically pick up on their subtle cues.
Gotta be direct.
Exactly. They could say something like, look, I value your feedback, but sometimes it feels a little harsh. It would mean a lot if you could start by pointing out the good stuff before diving into the critiques.
Okay, so the 3 needs to learn to be more assertive, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first.
It might feel awkward, yeah. But ultimately, it's about creating a more genuine, open dynamic in the relationship.
Where both people can be themselves.
Exactly. And when both sides are willing to meet in the middle to make those adjustments,
That's when the magic happens.
you got it. It leads to deeper understanding and more fulfilling connection.
So we've covered communication, attachment styles, conflict resolution. What else? Where else might these 2 bump heads?
Well, the article talks about their different approaches to decision making.
Oh, right. That's a big one.
It can definitely be a source of tension.
How so?
Well, 3s tend to be more collaborative when making decisions.
Meaning?
They like to get input from others, way different perspectives, and they often think about how their decisions will be perceived by others.
So image is still a factor?
It plays a role, yeah. But 8s, they're all about decisiveness, independence.
They trust their gut.
Exactly. They make decisions quickly and aren't afraid to go against the grain, even if it upsets some people.
So you can see how that clash of styles could cause problems, right?
Oh, yeah. Picture this. The 3 is carefully gathering information, trying to build consensus,
Taking their time.
and the 8 is ready to just jump in, make a call based on their instincts.
Impatient much.
A little bit, and that can lead to frustration on both sides.
The 3 feels rushed, the 8 feels held back.
Exactly. But it's not about one approach being better than the other.
It's about finding that balance, right?
You got it. The 3 could learn to trust their own judgment more, not rely so much on external validation.
Okay.
And the 8 could practice slowing down, considering other viewpoints.
Be a little more inclusive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where the 3's collaborative style and the 8's decisiveness can work together.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. And that balance is super important in romantic relationships, especially.
Ooh, let's talk about love. The article mentioned fireworks when describing the initial attraction between a 3 and an 8.
Yeah, and I can see why.
Right. 2 confident, dynamic people, both used to getting what they want. It's electric.
Totally. They're drawn to each other's intensity, their passion for life.
They admire each other's drive, their ambition, their unwavering determination.
It could be that power couple making waves wherever they go.
But we all know that initial spark can fizzle out, right?
Oh, yeah. Looks can only take you so far.
Exactly. To build something real, something lasting, they got to work through those deeper challenges we've been talking about.
They got to go beyond the surface level, dig a little deeper.
So how do they make it work? What's the secret to a successful 3 to 8 love story?
Well, communication and conflict resolution are key, like we talked about.
Right. Those are the foundations.
But it goes even deeper. They need to create a space where both of them can be vulnerable, where they feel safe letting their guard down.
That's tough for both of them, though, right?
Oh, for sure. 3's often hide behind this mask of perfection, afraid to show their true selves.
And 8s, they're so independent, guarding their hearts like Fort Knox.
Exactly. So it's about creating a dynamic where those walls can come down.
Where the 3 can express their insecurities without fear.
And the 8 can let go of control, embrace those softer emotions.
Easier said than done, right?
Definitely not easy, especially for 2 types who are so used to projecting strength and confidence.
So how do they get there?
It takes conscious effort. They
Yeah.
need to be more present with each other.
Really listen. Try to understand.
Exactly, and offer support without trying to fix or control the situation.
It's about creating that emotional security where both partners feel seen, understood.
And appreciated for who they are, not just for their accomplishments or their take-charge attitude.
So it's not just about saying, I love you. It's about showing it through actions, through understanding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about another key element. Respect.
Okay. Respect. That's important in any relationship.
Especially for these 2. Both 3's and 8's have a deep need for it.
In what way?
Well, 3's crave admiration for their achievements, right?
Yeah.
They want to be recognized for their successes.
Makes sense.
And AT, they demand respect for their authority, their competence. They need to feel like they're in control.
So it's not just about expressing love and affection.
It's about acknowledging and appreciating each other's strengths.
Seeing the value they bring to the table.
Exactly. The 3 needs to feel genuinely admired by the 8, not just for their accomplishments, but for their kindness, their ability to connect with others.
And the 8 needs to feel respected by the 3.
Not just for their strength and decisiveness, but for their loyalty, their protectiveness.
It's about seeing beyond those surface level traits, appreciating the whole package.
Exactly. And when that mutual respect is there, it creates this foundation of trust and admiration that can help them through tough times.
Like an unbreakable bond.
Exactly. So we've talked about communication, vulnerability, respect. What else?
Well, the article mentioned shared goals and a sense of adventure being important for these 2.
Oh, yeah, those are big ones.
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. Both 3's and 8's are goal-oriented, right?
Yeah.
They love a good challenge. They want to make a difference in the world.
They're driven.
Exactly. And when they share those goals, those aspirations,
It brings them closer.
it creates this powerful sense of purpose, of unity.
You become this unstoppable force.
Exactly. But it's not all about work and achievement either. Their shared sense of adventure can also bring a lot of joy to their relationship.
So like traveling together, trying new things, pushing their boundaries.
Exactly. Whether it's starting a business together or exploring a new hobby, they thrive on experiencing life to the fullest.
It's about finding that balance between ambition and adventure.
Exactly. And that shared excitement, that shared sense of purpose, it can really keep things fresh, you know?
Keep the spark alive.
Exactly. Now, I want to circle back to attachment styles for a minute.
Okay, yeah. We talked about how the 3's secure attachment can help the 8 be more vulnerable.
Right.
But what about the flip side? How can the 8's avoidant tendencies affect the relationship?
Well, it's important to remember that attachment styles aren't, like, set in stone.
Okay, so they can change.
Yeah, they can evolve, especially in a supportive relationship.
So there's hope for the 8s out there.
Definitely. But that tendency to avoid emotional closeness, it can still create some bumps in the road.
Especially for the 3 who, like, needs that connection.
Exactly. The 8 might pull back when things get too intense, emotionally.
Leaving the 3 feeling kind of lost and unsure.
Yeah, it's like the 3 is reaching out and the 8 is stepping back, creating this distance.
And that's got to be frustrating for both of them.
Oh, for sure. So again, communication is key.
The 3 needs to speak up, say what they need.
Exactly. Express that need for reassurance, for affection, but without blaming the 8.
And the 8 needs to, what, meet them halfway.
Yeah, recognize those bids for connection and respond in a way that makes the 3 feel safe.
So instead of shutting down, the 8 could try saying something like, hey, I hear you. I want you to feel secure. I might not always show it the same way, but that doesn't mean I don't care.
Exactly. It's about bridging that gap in how they express themselves, finding a way to show love that works for both of them.
And for the 3, it's about realizing that the 8 needing space doesn't mean they're not invested.
It's just their way.
Their way of dealing with emotions, of staying independent.
Exactly. And this is where the 3's secure attachment can be so helpful. They can be that steady presence.
That rock for the 8 to lean on.
Exactly. Allowing the 8 to open up at their own pace without feeling pressured.
So it's about patience, understanding.
Creating a space where they can both be themselves emotionally.
That's beautiful. So all in all, what are some key takeaways about this 3 and 8 pairing? What should our listeners remember?
Well, knowing your Enneagram type and your partner's type, that's huge.
Self-awareness is key.
It gives you this map, Shows you your strength, your weaknesses, where you might clash.
And it's not about changing each other.
No, it's about accepting those differences and using them to build something strong.
Something that works for both of you.
Exactly. And communication, can't stress that enough.
Always got to talk it out.
Be open, honest, respectful.
Listen to each other. Really listen.
And don't be afraid to compromise, but stay true to yourself, too.
Don't lose yourself in the process.
Exactly. And remember, having fun together is important, too.
Right, like those shared goals, those adventures.
Find things that you both love, things that challenge you, make you feel alive.
Those shared experiences can really bond you.
Oh, absolutely. And one last thing.
What's that?
Don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Like therapy?
That. Or Enneagram workshops, even just talking to other couples who've been there.
It takes a village sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. There are resources out there, people who can help you navigate this dynamic.
Great advice. So if you're interested in learning more about Enneagram compatibility, I highly recommend checking out Personality NFT.
They have amazing resources on their website, including AI-powered apps, tests, even a community forum.
Yeah, and they have experts you can chat with directly if you want more personalized guidance.
All of that is at personalitynft.com.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those deep dives going. Until next time.